Tell you that, first of all, I was surprised that a summit of such magnitude can be cancelled within a space of a week before the summit takes place. I have never heard of such a thing in the times that I spent in my foreign affairs dealings. Normally, it takes a lot to prepare for a summit. It takes a lot to secure the presence of leaders because they have to block a lot of events for them to be available. That is why it is called a summit. A summit meaning it is heads of state that were going to be available. To have a situation where you cancel it as a country within a space of a week before the conference starts is really something that I failed to comprehend. Because as you know, Your Excellency, a summit like that which is involving high-ranking delegations will attract officials coming into sometimes even a month before. You know that when we are going to the General Assembly, which normally happens in September of every year, we have officials from Foreign Affairs that spend 3 months before the actual assembly starts in September. They are there preparing documents and all kinds of things for the delegates to come and attend a successful summit. So to have a situation where a summit can be cancelled within, a week before it commences, it doesn't paint a good picture for us as a country. It doesn't show organization for us as a country. Foreign Affairs must be worried. The country must be worried that we can cancel such a summit where we're expecting over 2,000 delegates to be in Zambia. And you know what that does to Zambia? Because just a summit like that, the Human Rights Conference, a summit, was going to attract a lot of businesses for our local people here. That is what summits do. It doesn't just end with the people that are attending the summit. It also has a lot of spillovers. And these spillovers who have been denied by our people. We would have seen the economy boom, at least for the time that the meeting was going to take place. But alas, it was cancelled. And what is offensive about this is that the summit was cancelled when government realized that the issues, the agenda that was going to be discussed in that summit was going to affect them, knowing that this government has not done well regarding matters of human rights. Just recently, you saw how a journalist was brutalized by suspected UPND cadres. I took time with my colleagues to go and visit him. Up to now, as you and I are speaking, that journalist, Alfonso Kasongo, is still in hiding with his family, still in hiding in a place somewhere. And that is very regrettable. And we have not heard any statement from government or indeed PS Thabo Kawana, who seems to talk about everything except what concerns his job. On that particular incident, he has elected silence, conveniently so, because he knows that human rights are being violated there. They also cancelled that meeting or that conference, that summit, when they realize that they have passed draconian and repressive laws, such as the cyber law that they have passed in this country, where what you say is gagged, where what you say, so they had no business in even hosting a summit like that in the first place. And so before they even aspired to host such a summit, I think they should have evaluated themselves. They should have looked at themselves and they should have said, this summit is not for us. This summit, we are culprits. We have failed to live human rights dictates. We have failed. We have brought in Zambia laws that are suppressing citizens, cyber laws, where citizens now are afraid to speak. Ambassador, in this country, citizens now can no longer speak. People are quiet. Even people you thought could speak, because before you could see non-governmental organizations speak. You could see church leaders speak. You could see politicians on every other platform speak. Today, the entire nation is almost quiet, silent, because they don't know what might follow them. There are very few who are speaking today because everybody is scared of they might follow me. They might open a charge again. Now, what type of a country are we trying to run? What type of a government is this that suppresses its own people that it is trying to govern? So, really, in the first place, this government had no business in even applying to host such a summit, which was promoting human rights, a summit which was going to talk against cyber laws. So therefore, they didn't want to get embarrassed. And a week before the summit commences, they cancel it. Again, that is a dark period for our country. Zambia is proving very fast before the international community. Zambia is proving that we have a problem with leadership in this country. And it is sad because everybody is now seeing. You can imagine working of us. We are being discussed in various capitals. We are being degraded everywhere internationally simply because the leadership that is currently running the affairs of our country does not know whether they are coming or they are going. Very sad time for our country. Made me very sad. It felt like a funeral. I have never seen a diplomat get so emotional with the things that he was saying. And for starters, I want to put it on record that an ambassador like that can never issue such a statement without it being cleared by his capital. Farewell speeches, National Day speeches, and speeches that are hinging on bilateral agreements of countries will never be issued by an ambassador without the clearance of capitals where they come from. So there should be no doubt in the mind of anybody that listened to Ambassador Gonzalez speaking to us as a country yesterday, that his speech, even before he read it, he subjected it to the State Department back in Washington to see if it's in tune with Washington's interests. Therefore, if anybody would want to argue that, no, that statement he was speaking from his own, it was Steph, that speech was coming from Washington. Yes, I was taken aback to see how Ambassador was at pains, indeed, to try and explain how things have degenerated in Zambia. And if there were people that were doubting that corruption is part of governance in this country, there was your answer last evening from the American ambassador. He was not speaking from speculation. He was speaking from a basis of facts. And that really took me down as a person. It really affected me deeply as well, knowing that the things we thought were obvious for our government weren't obvious. I was sad, and I'm still sad, to learn that our government deliberately has looked the other way when corruption is taking place. They have been talking about corruption, and yet they have not put in any effort to fight the scourge. That is sad for Zambia. And you know that statement has not just ended with Washington. That statement has been received by other cooperating partners like the European Union, the British authorities, SADC, the African Union. So that report has been piped in various capitals across the globe, that this is where Zambia sits. And I know you mentioned this fact. The USA and Zambia have enjoyed long bilateral relations. From 1964, when we got our independence, America has had that bilateral relation with Zambia. And you are right when you say that America or the USA has been one of the biggest bilateral sponsors or bilateral contributors to our Zambian economy. No other country beats the kind of support that they give to Zambia. I think they give us about $530 to $700 million per year in supporting our various sectors in the economy. So clearly, as you put it in the beginning, Excellency, Ambassador Gonzalez was on firm ground when he raised those issues. Some issues I was amazed that they can even happen. How can you explain that an ambassador can take months without talking to a sitting head of state especially an ambassador that is giving you humongous amounts of monies like the ones I'm just telling you about, such an ambassador can never be ignored. You ignore such a one at your own peril, and it has got consequences if you do that. Obviously, the amount of support that you receive from the American government will be affected, because what Ambassador Gonzalez was saying yesterday was simply, we are being irresponsible as a country. We have not lived up to the image that they thought we were at. We talk a lot and we don't action the things that we should be actioning on our people. And you see, looking at his face, looking at how he was doing things last evening, I would have expected that the people that should have been coming out in that kind of gesture should have been our leaders. They should have been the one to show that Zambia is really going through a lot of challenges. But our was to ignore it. Really, for me, Ambassador, sorry to say this, but I'll say it. You know why I resigned from government? One of the reasons I resigned from government was when I could not agree on how things were being done. I said, I'm not going to continue on this trajectory. And when you see that corruption is happening, why don't you tackle it? Why doesn't the president show character by dealing with ministers that are involved in corruption? Why does he choose? It's not up to him. If I were the president, and evidence is brought before me that this minister is corrupt, I would deal with that minister. I will fire that minister. The president doesn't have that boldness to fire the ministers that are involved in or being mentioned in these corrupt issues. And that is why we are where we are today. So he should even stop talking about corruption, because he's got no business talking about corruption. That statement from the American ambassador should leave all of us worried that if a largest economic contributor to Zambia in the form of the United States of America can speak in that format, what more other countries like Gabon? Can the president even talk to countries coming from like Gabon, anybody coming from Malawi? Can an ambassador coming from Botswana even have the guts to see our president? So if the president is not seeing the American ambassador, who is he seeing? And I ask this question because I know that embassies or countries are graded. We know in what tier America is graded. We know in what tier Germany is graded. How come the president is having difficulties? The government is having difficulties because Ambassador Gonzalez's statement is saying that even ministers have shunned the American authorities. Yesterday, when he was giving that speech, I was scanning in that room to see if there were any ministers. Because normally what happens on a day like that, we should have had a Zambian government minister who should have also been bidding farewell to him. We didn't see any. And normally, it should have been the foreign minister, especially for a country like the USA. There was nobody. Is Zambia suggesting that it is now straining relations with the USA? I think government must come out clearly to tell us why they are treating embassies or ambassadors from such capitals in such a fashion. Because from what I know, any ambassador in a country like ours is representing their head of state. And so when a head of state writes to you a note verbal, as we call it in foreign affairs, you as a country should take it as a priority. You must see that you meet that ambassador within a space of at least 3 days, 4 days. You must see them and hear, why is the ambassador wanting to see me? Because they didn't come here to only have coffee. They came here to ensure that their interests as well as our interests are enhanced. So really, Ambassador Mwamba, I am sad, really, that Zambia can see such days in foreign affairs. I never thought again such things would ever happen. And I never thought a diplomat can say what he said yesterday with boldness. And he was saying it with a sad spirit. And I am equally very sad that our people are not being represented right. Zambia is not being represented right. We are being mismanaged internationally. But this will be... You know, I'm gasping for breath here. As you've rightly put it, Ambassador, for a diplomat to use the word rubbish, just the word rubbish itself, being used by a diplomat, it tells you that things have really collapsed. Things have really collapsed. And that should tell us as a country, he was trying hard to find exact words that he could use to describe the situation here. And he was at pains. I could see how he was struggling. When you see his facial expression, his body language, the ambassador was at pains to try and explain how Zambia has degenerated. Surely, ambassador, how can you have a situation where the Anti-Corruption Commission can have the audacity to even announce that ministers will not be investigated or will not announce? In fact, the president himself did that announcement. Ministers being investigated by the Anti-Corruption Commission should not be announced to the public. Kenneth Kaunda, Frederick Chulubalevi Mwanawasa, Rupia Banda and others must be turning in their graves to hear such a statement coming from a Republican president. Dr. Kaunda would fire a minister, not for corruption. He would fire a minister for just taking too much to the bottle. At one time, I remember he fired one minister and he said, I pray to God Almighty that he will make you rise up again and take up your full responsibility before the nation. A minister was fired, not because he went and got money which was not his, not because he didn't do retirement of interest. A minister was fired because President Kaunda thought the amount of bottles he was consuming were a bit more. Now we have a situation here where the Anti-Corruption Commission is telling you and I that ministers should not be investigated for corruption. Let me become president in this country. We cannot allow such kind of jokes. We can't allow that. What is so special about being a public officer? In fact, to the contrary, when you are a public officer, your levels of being scrutinized even go higher than someone who's in private practice, because you are thriving on public monies. You are using things in the name of the public. The person in the private sector are struggling to make ends meet. So why would the person who is indeed supposed to curb corruption be the one to sit on it? You know, Ambassador, as well as I do, that the late Roger Simwewa, Comrade Chitotela, were relieved of their duties by President Michael Sata, not because they were guilty as deputy ministers, not because they were guilty, but because the Anti-Corruption Commission was doing some investigation on them. They could not stay in office because Mr. Sata thought they would preempt or they would figure around or tinker with information in their ministries. That is leadership. It is not leadership. It is never leadership to try and shield your colleagues because they are loyal to you. In fact, President Ichilema has gone very far in trying to suppress the fight against corruption. What he has done is that he is using the institutions of governance, especially the Anti-Corruption Commission, Drug Enforcement Commission. He's been using these institutions to try and show his colleagues that he's working with that he can use them against them, or he might not use them against them, as long as they play loyalty. And that is what the ambassador is talking to. Why is it that ministers who should have been investigated have never been investigated? Why? Why is it that ministers who should have been dropped were only transferred to another ministry and never punished? And why is it that standards are different? For others, it is another standard. For another one, it's another standard, depending on your relationship with the powers that be. You can't do like that. The Anti-Corruption Commission is a creation of Parliament. That is a quasi-government institution. It's a watchdog institution. It is meant to put leaders like the president and his ministers in check so that they do not abuse, they do not go beyond the powers given to them. But here we are today. The ACC has become complicit. And as the ambassador says, on one hand, we are crying wolf that there will be no sacred cows. On the other hand, you are busy saying don't investigate ministers. Now it has become like a privilege to dispense. If you are to be arrested or not to be arrested has become a privilege. It cannot be like that. We have reduced ourselves. Mwanawasa, wherever he is, must be worried. He must be turning in his grave. That the fight that he really pontificated, really brought forth to extremes this country has never seen, has been dwarfed. It is not right. I think when you look at the presidents that have run the affairs of this country, you realize that all of them, except our current president, have fought the fight against corruption in truth. They have tried. They were human. They could have done better, but at least they tried to ensure that the fight was genuine. So the Anti-Corruption Commission now has remained a toothless bulldog. It's a toothless institution, which is just meant to scare those of us who are not part of them, to scare candidates they might not be comfortable with, to scare whoever they think that is not towing the line of governance. That should not be the way. The ACC, going after August elections, when power exchanges hands, will have to go back to its original act, be a watchdog institution without fear or favor. I think Ambassador Gonzalez could not have said it better than he has put it. It has all been rhetoric, and it's a good thing that he raised. There was a lot of hullabaloo on the issue of medicine procurement in the Ministry of Health. People were suspended from their employment. People were, they tried to create some situation as if they were people that were serious with the fight against corruption. And as the ambassador said, up to today, 3 years down the line, nobody has been convicted. Why? It's because they did not focus on the people that committed the offenses. The people that committed the offenses were shielded by the powers that be. They went to junior officers who did not have anything to do with what was happening. Innocent people today are even facing courts. From where I stand and from my investigations that I've done, at least, I would say, from the story I've heard, some people that I can think they're innocent are busy being dragged into matters. And yet those who should be paying the price are busy wearing UPND regalia and being praised. Now, this is being hypocritical. It's being hypocritical because you can talk about monies being mismanaged. You saw what happened during the time of Manawasa, because this is not the first time such a thing is happening in this country, especially in the Ministry of Health. People were convicted. I think permanent secretaries went to court and they went to jail in the Ministry of Health when there were issues of monies being misapplied and mismanaged. It is there in the history. Today, it's been all talk. The president went to Ministry of Health with a convoy because he likes convoys a lot. He went to Ministry of Health with a convoy. And what he went to do there is to, again, see to it that medicines have come and everything has happened. He was more interested in the cameras following him, not in him doing the actual job. Now, when you have people like that presiding over the affairs of a country, they'll be exposed by the diplomats because the locals in Zambia are failing to talk. Now, a diplomat has taken the role that we should have all been taking, we should have been talking about. He has taken that role. And I think on this one, Ambassador Gonzalez, you have done extremely well. You have gone even beyond the call of duty to do what you have done for our country. You love Zambia even more than those who are running over the affairs of this country, because their behavior, which has been exposed, should never have allowed them to even be in public office. They have clearly showed us that their interests has got nothing to do with the people of Zambia. Their interests is their own aggrandizement, their own businesses and so on and so forth. But this must come to an end. And you know, Ambassador, listening to Ambassador Gonzalez speak, he said everything a person can speak. He said it. He said it all. All that he was short of telling you and I is that those of you who are voting on the 13th of August, go and kick these people out. It was that short of telling you that. Now, I can add that line. Go and kick him out in August. And that is all we should do. Because we have been told by the international community, that is America speaking. The international community has told us this man has not taken corruption seriously. Honestly, for me, that statement, Ambassador, so I can tell you for a fact. If I were the president of a country and a diplomat rubbishes the drama that I've been doing around, the games I've been playing around, I would resign. And that is why I'm asking President Hichilema, be honorable, resign. If really you've got anything that, any credibility around, I think you should just say, with what has been exposed, I think I don't have the legitimacy to continue being in office. It's never too late. After all, the elections are in August. You can still say, it's okay, I won't even contest because Naseva, and I mean, I've been embarrassed. This is a huge embarrassment to the country, which you have caused us to go through. It is sad because, as I said, these reports have been piped in the different capitals. People are not just talking about our president and the UPND government. They are talking about us as Zambians. They are talking about us as Zambians who don't take corruption seriously. Are we not ashamed, really? Can't we, for once, begin taking these actions seriously? Ministry of Health is a critical institution. And the fact of the matter is, the American government pumps in a lot of money, together with other cooperating partners. They pump in a lot of money in the Ministry of Health. Why is it that we are failing to account for those monies? Because we don't want to account, we have stopped picking their cause. And we think that is solving issues. That is just bringing problems for a country like ours. It is the vulnerable that are going to suffer in this country. Because once the expenditure, once the monies that are being given to Zambia go down, it means the amount of medicines we can buy also will be affected. And what does that do to the ordinary Zambians? They are the ones who are the end casualties. They're the ones who are at the tail end, who are at the receiving end, who will feel the brunt of this action. Let us be responsible as leaders. Well, Your Excellency, I think Ambassador Gonzalez has said it all. He has exposed it all. He has raised very pertinent issues concerning the same issue concerning the health MOU. When I heard about the health MOU and the government not signing, and the impression that government was creating to the public, I made an appointment to meet the American ambassador. I think that was about 6 weeks ago. And the American ambassador was very gracious. He did accord me that time to go and see him. I had a 2-hour meeting with Ambassador Gonzalez and his staff at the American embassy. And I asked questions as to why they should tie their support, especially in the health sector, to our rare earth minerals, as we are calling them now. I also asked Ambassador Gonzalez, why in God's name would you allow people to die because you want to get some kind of wealth from Zambia, and that there is this issue that is going around that you also want to have access to the medical or to the medicals of private citizens. You want to know their status and all that kind of thing. And the ambassador was gracious enough. He took me through and explained that none of that was correct, and that the American government has been one of the largest supporters to our health sector, and that there was no way America would have stopped to support the health sector. And as you've rightly said, even this employment of new nurses that they are singing about, the employment of teachers that they are singing about, the American government has been very key in providing critical support, financial support, for the recruitment of all those people that they are recruiting. And yet, because, as you know, 2 years ago, our ambassador in Washington was directed to have Washington recall Ambassador Gonzalez. And so that battle has not finished, because I'm told our leaders, once they have an issue with you, they will never drop it until they win. That is their behavior. We have seen it with the way we are handling the 60th Republican president. It's about winning. Everything's about winning. I think that's not correct. That's not the way it should be. So I discovered that there was a lot of misinformation going out deliberately to hoodwink the Zambian public, so that the public would think that the American government was trying to take advantage of our cobalt, of our lithium, those rare minerals, so that they could harvest those for their own advantage. But that is not the case. They have continued providing that critical support, even in the absence of them harvesting that same critical support that the government has been trying to misinform the Zambian people about. So it is not correct. It is bad diplomacy to peddle innuendos against a bilateral partner. I think it is not correct. That is why it has been difficult for our leaders to meet Ambassador Gonzalez, because they know themselves that they had no answers to give him. So what should they have done? They took local politics to diplomatic situations. You don't do that. Diplomatic etiquette does not entertain the local politics that you've been using on us, your friends in the political fraternity. I think it is important that we don't politicize matters that are affecting the Zambian people. We don't politicize issues that are affecting the health of our people. Zambia is blessed, Ambassador. We are surrounded by 8 countries. Why Zambia, in God's name, has not even thought of making this the hub of health tourism, God knows better. And we had an opportunity where we would have improved our health facilities here. Money is being given to us. And because we did not want certain conditions to prevail, or we did not want certain issues to be done correctly, what do? We begin undermining a process. Typical of the leaders that we have today. Undermining a process that ultimately affects your own citizens. It's a sad day. It's a sad season for our country. Very sad. Ambassador, I will start with the issue of the pollution that has happened on the copper belt. This has to do with, I think, cyanometals. I took time when it happened. I think it was last year in February, if my memory serves me right. I took time to visit the Chinese. First of all, I saw the American ambassador quietly to get to the real stories as to why they had raised that issue very aggressively. And then he did brief me on their findings, and I asked if there was anything that I could rely on for me to have a comprehensive understanding of what was happening in regards to the pollution. He did give me 1 or 2 documents, I think, which I went through. Upon reading those documents, I also made an appointment with the Chinese authorities. And the Chinese authorities also were so gracious. They also met me at their embassy and again took me through as well what had happened, the actions that taken, both for the locals living around that area, which has been described as being affected. They also told me what had happened even within the management of cyanometals. But there's been a back and forth, and clearly our government has not come out very clearly on this matter. They have not come out clearly. This is a matter of grave concern. It is a matter that required government to ensure that ZEMA, the ones who gave licenses to firms like cyanometals, I think ZEMA should have also been held accountable. It is our intention as citizens first. When we form government, we would want to establish a commission of inquiry to really look at this matter so that we can get to the bottom of this matter, this issue. Because a lot of issues are not being looked at critically. We saw a PS who went to drink water. Again, remember I was talking about our Permanent Secretary for Information. He even went to Kitwe there to go and drink water from the river, saying, look, I can drink water from this river, it's not affecting anybody. And yet, we've been told it's through a process, it's through a period. But that notwithstanding, we in the Citizens First have said this is a matter that should attract a commission of inquiry. It is a matter that should be taken seriously, especially that there are issues that are being described as very hazardous that can affect the health of our citizens. It's a grave matter. It requires to be taken seriously. Serious issues must be taken seriously and not lightly. Coming to the issue of the $4 billion leaving the country through illicit flows, I think again it comes back to the same issue, Ambassador, of the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Drug Enforcement Commissions doing the job that failing to do the job that they should be doing. Look, when you read the financial intelligence report, it will tell you how much revenue government has been losing. It will tell you the culprits involved. Why is it that no action is being taken? This is the cry of Ambassador Gonzalez. The report you read, and you speak very loudly about those reports. Why are you failing to take action on being mentioned? How can a country like Zambia, that is literally struggling to be where it is, a country where you are owing over 200 billion kwacha to local contractors, a country like this one where local contractors have not been paid, can afford the luxury of losing $4 billion annually through illicit financial flows, and nobody is taking affirmative action? This is a scandal, and this is very sad for our country, because when you look at the economy right now, there's a liquidity squeeze. When you look at the salary increments you are giving your civil servants, very minimal. And yet, when you go in our hospitals today, even where they used to provide meals for patients, it's no longer happening. In hospitals now, they have stopped cooking or preparing meals for patients. So, and yet you have the luxury to lose $4 billion annually in ways that you can't explain, but monies are leaving our economy. So that hole will have to be dealt with. And it only takes leadership to stop such kind of bleeding. Only leadership. But when you have a leadership that doesn't know whether it's coming or going, all they're interested in is to be re-elected and busy creating slogans that are not even important in this country. That's what happens. You have them campaigning from day one when they were elected, campaigning up to now, and the only ones campaigning, how can they supervise those issues of financial illicit flows? They're not even interested. They don't even know how to close those gaps. This is the momentous task we have coming into government this year, to stop such kind of bleeding. That is heavy bleeding. And remember, this is the same country that has gone to the multilateral partners. We have gone to the IMF. We have gone to the World Bank asking for $1.2 billion in terms of loans that we are getting. And those are monies which are being given in tranches. They give you $400 million after every 3 months, $400 million after every 3 months, and yet you have got $4 billion that is leaving you. You have got gold all over. You've got cobalt everywhere. You've got copper. You are failing to have all these things put properly together because you are neither here nor there. These are serious issues, and strictly coming into government ourselves, we would want to deal with issues of the Drug Enforcement Commission. We would want the Anti-Corruption Commission. We would want the police to begin doing their duty, to begin doing their job, and do without interference. Why would you want the Anti-Corruption Commission? Why would you want the Drug Enforcement Commission to be under the office of the president, to be under State House? Those are quasi-government institutions. They're semi-autonomous. They should be watchdogs as they should be, as opposed to what we are seeing now. It is wrong. It is not right. We are allowing our country lose revenue, which revenue could have gone in the creation of industries, which revenue could have gone in doing much more for our country. But here we are. I heard Ambassador Gonzalez talking about contracts that are being given. Money is being gotten from institutions like NAPSA, workers' compensation. Monies for our people who are working and hoping that they are going to benefit from these monies. We are just mismanaging everything. The bleeding is heavy. We have to stop it.
Which brings me to the question, and before I let you go, I'll be letting you go at 21:30, and we'll be leaving the two TV stations that have joined us, Prime TV and KBN, at that time. The country is broken, no hope for our businessmen, for our farmers, for our workers, for the unemployed youths, for all sectors and all our people are in distress, and they've been looking to the opposition for a solution. The opposition, you are not giving us hope. Just from the records from ECZ, it looks like 29 presidential candidates have paid, the nomination fee. And our people are saying, we know our country is broken. We know we have a corrupt leadership. We know that even Nobulo Shivali quarters, things have emerged now. But who do we vote for? What are you doing about the issue of unity? Our people fear that the votes might be dissipated amongst you, the leading candidates. Maybe you, maybe Makebi Zulu, Brian Munduvile, Fred Membe, KBF and others. Please speak to this issue of unity in light of what has happened at ECZ.
I'm just hearing now from you that there are 29 presidential candidates that have paid. I mean, I'm one of the 29. It is sad. It is sad. The people have spoken. And from the Citizens First perspective, we have tried to talk to everybody. And even now, even today, I was still talking to fellow opposition leaders. Let us see how we can merge. And I hope that something will come out. I think the cries of our people have become desperate. Our people would want us to sit and be reasonable with one another. As I said, or as I always say, in 1964, when we got our independence, Dr. Kaunda was not the most intelligent of them all. But the colleagues at the time allowed Dr. Kaunda to lead because there can only be one leader at a time. The same thing happened in 2020, in 1991. Dr. Chiluba was not the best of them all. But when they sat and said, okay, there was Humphrey Mlemba, there was Arthur Wina, there was Shamwana, there were different leaders who were there in 1991. But they said, we're going to allow Dr. Chiluba to lead us. And he did lead the process. We have got a lot to learn from history. And we have got a lot to be thankful for about how history has absorbed itself. We need to make every effort. We need to continue talking to one another. And I can tell you, Ambassador, I've not yet lost hope. Remember, the paying of the 100,000 kwacha is only a preliminary. It's an administrative guess that has been done. There are several processes that are going to come up. And we are hoping that by the time we are reaching the 18th of May, when the official timetable for presidential candidates starts, maybe the talks that we are having will have yielded into something where others, some of us, including myself, might say, I think we are not going to go ahead because we have reached a certain understanding with colleague or comrade B and C and D. I think for now, we should allow one person to go there. So, no, not everything is lost, Ambassador. We are still having talks. And I am not saying this because I'm before you. You know I'm a frank person. If there was nothing, I would tell you, nothing is happening. But I want to assure the public out there that we are doing our best. We are talking to one another. We are still talking. And now that the list is coming out and we are seeing who has paid, we are beginning to make calls. What is this? How can we leverage on this? How can we come together and see how best we can amalgamate? How best can we close ranks so that we don't allow the UPND? Because right now they're having wine. They're celebrating. Seeing 29 of us, 28, plus the president 29. Now seeing 28 of us applying to stand, they are having wine. They're saying, yes, we have managed to have them split the votes. And of course, the vote can be split. But I'm also confident, Ambassador, that it is not every time that we should expect everybody to agree to come together. I think 2011, when you remember the elections that we had in 2011, I think we had about 11 presidential candidates, including the incumbent. The people of Zambia still said, out of these 11 contenders, we are only going to settle for one. And they settled for President Michael Sata. That is how he won the elections. In 2021, we were 16 of us who stood for an election. I was one of those who stood. President Hakainde Hichilema was chosen out of the 16 of us, despite us not closing ranks. They chose him because the people said, who at this moment is able to talk on matters that are affecting us? Who at the moment can help us get out of the current we are in? And in their own wisdom, they chose Mr. Hichilema, who has lamentably failed, as you and I know. So this time around, I am praying that we are going to do everything possible again as leaders. And I'm appealing to our leaders. Let's be open to one another. Let's try to reason. Let's try and reach an agreement as quickly as possible. I'm happy that we are talking to each other. The fact that I was meeting some this afternoon and again we'll be meeting tomorrow with some people, for me it is giving me hope that now we can go in each other's homes, because the time requires such to visit each other and talk to one another and face facts as they face us. Because, truth be told, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema winning this election by chance, by any chance, him winning, even those of us who are not before the courts of law now facing charges, he will create them, because he has showed us he doesn't want opposition. He has showed us he wants to go unopposed. He has showed us that he wants what is happening in the UPND to be transplanted into Zambia. And so he wants it to be a thing where it is only him who shines, like he's doing right now. We can't campaign. The only campaign we can do is to come on EMV, go on KBN TV, go on Prime TV. That's all we can do. Beyond that, the police will clamp on you. And these are the very things Mr. Hakainde Hichilema himself was against. And I always ask him this question. Sir, if the way you are treating us, if the way you are bringing bills, 2 weeks before Parliament dissolves, you want the electoral process bill to be completed. If that is the way the PF, who you defeated, who did things, Mr. President, would you honestly have made it to community house? Because you haven't gone to state house. Would you have made it to that community house? The answer is a no. You said you were going to create an enabling space. Why haven't you done that? Honestly, why haven't you done that? You keep talking your CDF, you keep talking your things. Please, if you think you are strong, if you have delivered as you keep on saying you have delivered, then why don't you allow us to also tell the Zambian people what we should tell them? Why should it only be you to be going on the Copper Belt? Tomorrow you are in the Southern Province. The other day you are in Kasama. The other day you are the only one. How do you want to be the best dancer when you are the only one dancing and don't want others to compete with you? It doesn't work that way. Please, Zambia is not a dictatorship. Zambia is not an autocratic nation. This is a democracy. This is what we chose for ourselves in 1991. And so, even as we talk, Ambassador Mwamba, with our colleagues, this is what, for us as CF, we keep telling them. Colleagues, it is either we unite or we perish. And that is the status quo. If we allow Mr. Hichilema, Ambassador Gonzalez did mention in there, the Attorney General has been quoted in saying they might begin looking at how they can fidget around with the laws if Mr. Hichilema wins again. So, do we want to have a life president in Zambia? Zambia is not any other country. Zambia is Zambia. The spirit which governs Zambia is very different from the spirit which governs the DRC Congo. This is a Christian nation, declared by our founding fathers. And because Zambia is a Christian nation, we shall take it as such. We will pray like we prayed the other day at Praise Christian Center, that God himself will come down and do the unimaginable. We are praying that we should also do our part as leaders before we even invoke God. Let's talk to each other. Let's reason, because this is a time for reasoning. I don't mind if you have not participated in any election or you have not been doing things, but let's reason. You have paid. It's your democratic right. You can do that. But at the end of the day, It is the Zambians that will be wallowing in poverty. It is our people that we need to look at. I think it is important. Let us draw lessons from what happened in 1996 when UNIP boycotted elections. And when UNIP boycotted elections, we had a situation where the opposition again failed to come together. And what happened? They made a way for the MMD, then led by Dr. Chiluba, to continue governing. We shouldn't allow that mistake to recur. This time, me as Harry Kalaba, together with the Citizens First, that I'm privileged to lead at a defining moment such as this, are saying, we will engage you, we will talk to you, we will call you. Today, State Council Sakwiba Squatter called me back and says, hey, I've found 7 missed calls from you. What is happening? And I told him, State Council, we have to talk. We have to agree. We have to do this for the country, now more than ever.
Wonderful that you are engaged in that discussion. Let me just ask my last question before I release you. The country is going to national election in August. There are already fears that Zambia may not host or hold, democratic, free, transparent, and good elections. They may not be credible. They may not be transparent. There are those fears. The state of ECZ also is a matter of worry. The new laws from Bill 7 to the electoral process bill that are being passed currently have all raised these concerns. And to you, the opposition, the work that lies ahead is so much. 12,200 polling stations. You have over 1,875 wards in which to feature councillors. You have 226 constituencies for parliamentarians. You have 116 districts to feature either your councillors or mayors or council chairperson. The work is so much. We pray that you be ready, but we also, I think, recognize that we might need divine intervention in this matter. What are your last words?
Say that we realize what is before us. The work is humongous. And looking at how things stand today, looking at how constituencies have been created just in the very end of this life of parliament, looking at the number of polling stations, 12,200 polling stations that we have, this should give us an idea, even us in the opposition, that the very fact that we are having such things being done, the very fact that Bill 7 was passed, the very fact that we have the electoral process bill, which will be enacted into law very soon, should tell us that there is something that is happening that is not in our advantage. We must put every effort in ensuring that we amalgamate our efforts. The Citizens First will do its part. But to sit here and say the Citizens First is prepared to fill up all these constituencies alone, that is why we are reaching out to others. Because the strengths that my brother Brian might have, we might not have them. The strengths that Makebi Zulu might have, we might not have them as Citizens First. Indeed, the strengths that my elder brother Fred Membe might have, we might not have them as Citizens First. It becomes important. I don't have to like Brian. I don't have to like Fred. But because of what has befallen us, the need becomes urgent. Those polling stations you are mentioning, 226 constituencies, that's a lot. In 2021, when we participated in the elections, we're only going for 156, and that was a huge job as well. Now we have 70 more constituencies added. I don't see any single party within our opposition ranks that is going to manage and to field in every polling station, in every constituency, especially with what is happening. Ambassador Mwamba, what has been happening in the past, and I know with other political parties, was that in areas where you might not be very strong or very present, you might not have a lot of people coming to your political party. So you wait for that other party which is strong in that area to field, and when they field, they leave others, and then those that have not been adopted will always apply in other political parties. From what I'm hearing, I stand to be corrected, but from what I'm hearing, our colleagues in the UPND are getting certified copies of grade 12 and everything, and they're keeping all this. They're doing because they don't want those that they will leave to apply elsewhere, because the original copies which are required by the Electoral Commission of Zambia will not be able to be availed. And I'm telling those people, if indeed it is true, go and report that secretariat of yours of UPND to the police. Go and report them. It is not allowed, even within the Electoral Act. It is not allowed that people can keep your documents. It is not allowed. Why should you give them your documents? And they keep them, and they disadvantage you. If you are a man you want to marry, you can't go to that one, I'll marry you, that one I'll marry you, that one I'll marry you, and then you keep them like that, and then you marry this one, so that those people are not married by other people. That is wrong. That is evil. So I think what is happening is not correct. Now, if we know that they are playing those kind of tactics, the need to even come together becomes even more desperate. Because we already know, we want to lose an election. We're already seeing that if we don't stop that gap, if we don't stop that bleeding, we'll end up losing. Why would we want to go on pretending that, no, it should be me, it should be me, it should be me? If the Zambian people will say, Harry, it is not you to be, me, I am prepared to allow anybody else to lead me. It's fine. I mean, God's time is the best. So I would rather somebody else leads than having Mr. Ichilema continue being in power. Because if he continues, even the little dignity we are having today as opposition leaders will evaporate, because he will come for all of us. So it is important that we hold hands. It is important that we see these dangers and begin getting realistic and begin saying where we are, who amongst us colleagues can take us to the next level. I think that's what I can say. Let's continue talking to one another. Let's not fear knocking on each other's doors. We have to do it with sincerity, because divided we fall, united we stand.
Wonderful. We'll be letting KBN and Prime TV leave us, but for the entire audience who are watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on X, on Spotify, we are now opening the phone lines and you can ask any questions. Although we'll leave Honorable Harry Kalaba, Citizen First President, we might call him on his line to come and answer any of your pertinent questions. So we will leave KBN and Prime TV, but to the rest of the audience on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on Spotify, on TikTok, be here. Opening phone lines. And Mr. President, thank you. We'll be conducting this series because we think that this speech was momentous. When you have been saying there is corruption, people didn't believe it. But here is an accredited ambassador who sits at a podium where he has verified information, expose the corruption in President Hakainde Hichilema. I think we need as many opinions on this matter as possible. So thank you for availing us that opportunity.
For decades, the U.S. relationship with Zambia was one centered on aid. The United States has provided billions of dollars of assistance to Zambia, helping the country reach HIV epidemic control, contributing to a 20-year extension and increase in life expectancy, slashing malaria deaths, and truly impacting positively the lives of every Zambian alive today. But last year, when we paused funding to review our assistance programs, so much of Zambia's health system began to crumble almost overnight.
Please hold on.
Despite over $7 billion of health assistance since 2000, and the hard work of many Zambians alongside us, that crumbling system revealed that while we thought we were building capacity, successive Zambian governments had not built systems. Too often, Zambian officials and leaders abdicated their responsibilities, letting the United States pay for health care, while officials diverted government funds to their own pockets across successive governments. Last year, I stood at a table and I shed tears before the world when I announced that the United States was cutting $50 million in health assistance. After years of pleading, I could no longer stand by while Zambian government refuse to stop or to take action to hold people accountable for the systematic and nationwide theft of U.S.-provided medicines, while the Zambian citizens for whom they were intended went without. 1 year later, not a single notable person has been arrested since February of last year. Not a single notable prosecution has even begun. After a year's pause, or after last year's pause of our assistance, we resumed almost all of our health assistance, over $400 million in assistance, including $75 million in medications alone. We continue to pay the salaries for over 23,000 Zambian healthcare workers, as we have done for decades. That is the legacy of America's support to the Zambian people. Now, I know that there have been alarmist allegations recently, but let me be clear. Any suggestion that the United States would withhold critical life-saving healthcare support from those Zambians whose lives, whose health depend on it, unless we get critical minerals, is disgusting. It is absolutely and patently false. In reality, since October, my government has offered over $2 billion in additional grant assistance for health and economic growth to Zambia. But we can no longer accept empty promises. The future has to look different. Zambian government must...
Thank you very much. Let's continue with the program. For those that are watching us, we're discussing three pertinent issues. We're discussing the ECL crisis. It still remains a matter of concern. Second item, President Hakainde Hichilema cancelled the world's largest summit on human rights, the Rights Conference. And the 2026 World Rights Conference was supposed to attract up to 2,000 delegates from across the world. Bookings were made, hotels were booked, car hire were made, and we'll lose all that money. But more at heart was the issues that the conference discusses. It discusses human rights and digital rights. And Zambia is among the worst offenders. They probably thought they were hosting a digital conference. They had no idea that this was the largest human rights conference. And we are also now discussing the statement by U.S. ambassadors, statement, Michael Gonzalez, who's outgoing. He gave a momentous and historical speech, literally calling out and exposing the very corruption this government is involved in. Many of you are aware of the issues he released, but they were detailed and verified. And they exposed the dysfunction, the corruption, and deep-seated fracture that is happening in President Hakainde Hichilema, where the corrupt are the one running ACC, where they are looting public pensions, pension houses. The speech is historical. And I had Citizen First President Harry Kalaba help me, especially I picked him as first person to help with the interview on this matter, the analysis on this matter, because he's Zambia's longest foreign affairs minister, and this hinged on diplomatic relations, and I wanted us to discuss from that perspective. Let's pick your lines and let's hear what your views are. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba Mwabombeni, ni ba nameless. Yeah, Mwabombeni. Yeah. Hello?
Mkwai, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought that maybe you didn't hear me. Well, Mwamba, everything has spoken and we have heard. Even all what the ambassador has actually, put through the nation. We have heard everything. And we really thank him so much for, for having disclosed everything that he had made everyone wonder, yes, and suspicious. But at least now it's in the public domain and everyone now knows about that, yes. And thank you very much, Kuliva Kalaba, to come out and tell the nation about what he thinks and what the country is facing here. Other than that, Bamwamba, I want to get back to the Bible. Bible chintu chimo ichakwata mafunde ayakankala elo ukulingana fenesho Bible itweva fintu fumwe twingala konka Lero ekyo ndefaayo okulanda bamwamba kintu kimwe kikalamba saana ekyakweba ti abantu bangu nfwe. I want to challenge the chiefs, all the chiefs in Zambia. I hope they are hearing me, bamwamba. They can hear me. The reason why I want to challenge them, some of us, we are the great and great-grandchildren of some of the people who worked with the chiefs many, many years ago. And the stories were told to us. Yes. Ababemba nga balengumfwa nga baaliishi befo meaning ati benye balaishi befyo ndelandapo
babenye emkwayo nalibeshwa
babenye emkwaye balaishi befo ndelandapo bantu infumu shaaliishi bokweba tubulo shoko bwaba ifwe twalikwete abafyashi besu bashikulu besu abakale abalebomba n'enfumu abalini babenye abale tushimikire efinto bamwamba ekyo ndefu okulanda kyakweba ati infumu shirya shirayipela amaka umonga afwa akashira amaka omunankwe bati ukusha amaka kulilo omunankwe ni blessing bale shitaona so bali abantu abale womba kuli babenye ni abali babenye ni bali abene abayikere pamfumu ukula chita imbamu infumu akale mfumu efe bale chita imbamu tabale chita imbamu ngeshi bale chita padile elo yo kwale babene bali chibefe bale chita ukula kange mfumu nokula pepa na fiance nokwisa shira ile mfumu nombe ile kongapo amaka nomba ile mfumu apo ngatamui chindike tamui chitire ona iwe muntu tawaka kwake blessing so shide mfumu ishaleisa kuntanshi nomba shale kwata blessing so mondero shachakwebati ababa tata batusha takwali wa bachindike bali batukire bali bawelele elo bale pelo obufumu tababa pilya ownership takwali obachitire blessing baya na maka yabo eyo baya nayo so nomba infumu sha Zambia shifuile shaishi bokweba ubuloshi eko bwaba straight apandela ndanokwishwa nabeshe fondela ndapo ifo twafuma kubantu abale bombazi babenye abale ikate mfumu bale basemba mala bale chita fiance fide fintu fiance fo bale senda bale anomba mukutwala kuti bali abale isapo abale pokelela lero abene bali ishibefo bale chita tabale chita nkankabwa so pali lelo ayamashiwe ale umfwika te mashiwe yapalwelele mashiwe ayatuntulu bamwamba ayatuntulu chinto ndefu okulanda echo nacho ndefu okulanda kwechi.
Thank you,
so
Maya.
I have challenged all the chiefs in Zambia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maya, and thank you for that enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got two more callers waiting. Let me start with. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Bashimwamba.
Mkwai. Is that Honorable Mumbipiri?
Mkwai.
Honorable Mumbipiri, landeni po over the subjects we are holding.
Sirekeni nande pona mushibati nedi shipya chitika makayadi pofo mumfuira. Ishitumako sana because shari mponya pamusao. That the things which are happening can happen in Zambia. Abantu baletamba. Bashimwambanga mwalikonka, there was a prophecy. I can't just remember what they prophesying. Atimu August, muka chitike fintu, sika valitensha chalo. Ngana isanga na yapa Facebook opo na isangire. I'll send it to you. Nomba, aboba amayo bafumapo. Like ine na fuma kubukufumu, bothi kuchinsali, na kukasama baba chitimu kuluba liponi bashukulu. Mama na nombali ine. Kumusha, I just had my cousin who was a chief. Kumwesi kuchinsali. Imbami ya mfumu na nomba babonfya ilanda lilali inelia vuta. They don't use modern imbami. bashimwambanga muleibukisha abo babenye balumbulapo. You remember, I don't know if you are still PS kukasama lilya twaile n'abalungu kukasama ero twaisaya kumfumu bashimumbi kapila twabasanga bekala mukayanda akanono balungu had to take it upon himself ukwamba okukulira eby'enfumu nani kane palace yanyu. And if you remember very well, takwali ama toilets kulya kumushi ine and other people, because I haven't gotten, we were 3 women who strayed to afuma padyopo bale Kalaba shimumbi kapira twaishira isanga utumayanda twababenye tuli abapanga twabaishibako kumushi basala ndaima fubenye uko mule akuli babenye na nombali ne babenye uko baba kya nalandira lilya kya kitike andofo ndelandira kyali mponya pamusawo andi abantu abashinguluka bakateeka besu taba batemwa. That's why kuti bapanga mistake yakwati balanda tibikamu omuchere balelanda tisoti sana bachalula balemona kwati nachiwama bashimwamba ndemyeba. I don't know. Elo nomba, you are a former diplomat like me. I was shocked. Ukumfwa efo ba ambassador babaleya balelanda ndefo kubomfye chibemba bakutina ba munina nabali kuchinsa lina kukasama bomfuikishe sirya gonzala sala ndirati it's disgusting. Bamunina nemwe bali uko kumushi chimono kulanda tifyama kankamike muchibemba kumwesu. Hello, ifo forever yapo mu foreign service ishalo wafuma konga bali chichindika. Meanwhile, let us remember that United States of America is a superpower. If when forever a third world country, as if that's not enough, the third poorest, the last time I heard we were the third poorest nation, forever lepoka na chiremba, kuchalo chachula, ukuchirana ifwe, ba Burundi, ba tuletera donation. American ambassador to speak the way he spoke, kufeawe party yakwe. Bashimwambata mwamwena abaliko from the ruling bagari nkomboko bali bali abakustand bikoko bali na ba Bank of Zambia governor ishina abayikumbata katuishiri ndinifina kwamba okutalala no balela ndasidia alefiri pa social media kuno umuntu ale emirirako no mwayambo okumutuka sidia mwa mfuire ulianya sulu bata mfishe na o wakaere up to today nyasulu adi bachita challenge ba government at take me to court nishi bafiriro kumutwala ku court ngefafine fyalanda bakalaba inena abako comforted bandume shesu majority of you shishi beba chala kateka na bonga bali alipira alaikale ni panshi tulangulukireko abana abeshikulu nefishikulu lofo tukasha ichalwechi ichakweba ati tufike pa extent ya kutumbula omuntu shirite bululu wenu ushaba balungu badi ni government property. It didn't have a family. Bamwambaye muleibukisha lili omwana wandine balandira ati balashika kukawambwa bamwana wasaba lina amatwi. That my Santaza was not government Republic of Zambia. It was our child, and we bury him according to our tradition and culture. Iya chinsenga pantu baushibansenga bamwana wasa listened. He saw the importance. The other children were buried there. Is the only one we buried in Lusaka. Mwebantu bale tuweba uko kukabwe tutu anguluve nale lwe mandata ya abani veiled not ati Bululu bakweta barefuaya. We went to go and unveil. You remember how akapokora nebwana bashimwa boko mwadi.
Mkwai.
Echalo twinga konka nyapokula ikalamo. Gonzara sina tueva. Ati it's up to you mwebene bachalo. Mwebene bakachalo ka Zambia resari reko kupange fialo. Awa resari randire. Ati muirandirira balungu chadipwa. Bale turoresha ati muiririre mwebene.
Thank you. Let's take the call. The calls are on. Let's take as many calls as possible. We're hosting Citizen First Harry Kalaba, who was helping me with the analysis over the speech that has been made by U.S. President Gonzalez. Let me just take, I've got two people waiting already. Hello, caller, tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Yes. Jason from Germany.
Jason from Germany, make your contribution.
Yes, I just wanted to make a contribution from what has happened and what Mr. President Kalaba was saying. And I just got concerned so much about the spill which happened to in the Kafue River and this kind of poison which, the government has kind of shelved under the shelf, They don't want the public to know the danger of that toxic is still much more alive, that it is dangerous to the whole community. But this is what we, the politician, we always talk about. Sometimes they say so much about themselves than the people that they want to read. And so unfortunately that this has continued to happen. And I hope that whichever president comes after August, I hope that the opposition comes together, unite, but of course not uniting with all those people who are corrupt, because, one of the things that Mr. Lungu lost, because there are so much people who are not trusted, and it led to what we all know where it all led. But my point here is, let us choose people who have the heart of the people, not people who just want to save themselves, or for the sake of unity, you just pick anyone who has just other minds. The unity should be those people who are concerned for the Zambian people and who want to serve them diligently, not with corruption mind. So I thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for doing this program. And I hope that all the opposition or participant presidential candidates will yield to serve the Zambian people, not themselves.
Thank you.
So much,
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and give us your contribution. Hello. This looks like Father Pombo. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Emmanuel Mamba.
Good evening, Father. How is Italy?
Thank you so much. We are good. Okay. The weather is changing. Instead of being a hot weather, we have some sort of a cold weather. But we accept and we thank God for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honorable Emmanuel Mwamba and the Zambian people, thank you so much for a beautiful program that you have put forward. I would like to thank Harry Kalaba. Mwamba, just to disclose a light moment. Twalida kasana na Harry Kalaba. Bali shibufutwa lakini
Oh, I'm quiet. You're balonfwa. Namumfa, how is speaking about unity, speaking very well. Because the first time the first time you felt that he wasn't speaking unity, but I think you've been impressed the last two broadcasts. He's been very clear on the issue of unity.
Twalira kirino Harry Kalaba twalira ka bamwamba twalira ka pamulando wa unity ine mwalishwa fyo kuchava kabiri bonse mwebera Zambia mwalinjishwa Effect for Fiat abantu babombera pamo, pakubombera pabe na Zambia. We are doing whatever you do, we do. Our contribution, when we do our contribution, we don't hate anybody because I, Honorable Mwamba, you know very well, I'm not ashamed of saying to the Zambian people, I campaigned for Hakainde Hichilema. I campaigned for him. But I did not campaign for what is happening. That was 2021 when I remember value addition, jobs given to the Zambian people, taxation, good taxation, and all those beautiful messages that were given in by then 2021. So,
Father, make your contribution. I've got so many people waiting. Kindly make your contributions.
Right. So my contribution is, Gonzalez said the UPND government talks a lot and acts less. Then I come back now to the Honorable Kalaba. He was saying, we are talking and discussing. We have discussions with other presidential candidates because Bahari Kalabasa he understands coming together is going to help to solve this situation, especially coming these elections. So now, my question has been, I don't know whether Bahari Kalabaka Pili question. My question is this. Gonzalez Waranda to Hakainde Hichilema Nangwa UPND, they talk too much, they collect less. What is the difference between Bahari Kalaba? Muliranda, I respect you very much, my dear brother. You remember, you know me this. But the question is this. You say, you are discussing with opposition leaders and you have listened to the cry of the Zambian people that they are asking you to come together. So where is the difference? Can there be a difference between what Gonzalez noted about the UPND? They talk too much. When they talk, what they realize is the opposite from what they talk. Number Bahari Kalaba, this is my question about Mwamba. By Honorable Bahari Kalaba. Can there be a difference when you yourself, you say, you are discussing a lot with opposition leaders? Can you assure the Zambian people that the result is going to be different from the result of what is happening with President Hakainde Hichilema?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you. Ambassador Uncle J calling.
Uncle J, make your contribution.
Thank you very much. Having listened and read the speech by Ambassador Gonzalez, really, my heart actually sings. I'm also appalled, I must mention, by the level of stupidity and the insults that are being showered to the ambassador, the outgoing ambassador to America, by the press singers. This thing where UPND doesn't distinguish, that, there are levels in life. The way they've been behaving against us Zambians and the opposition is totally different from the way they are supposed to behave towards our cooperating partners, in this case, the foreign entities. But for them, they've just crossed the line in every sphere of our lives, and that is so dangerous. Lastly, I don't want to take much of the time. I want to applaud, the President Kalaba for what he was saying. He's speaking unity. I'm one person that never believed that he would work with others, but to see him really sober up and just want to advance this unity to everyone, it's one of the things that should be welcomed and be encouraged by everyone. This is what we need. But of course, we are not oblivious to the fact that they may not everyone else would want to, as it is shown this far. But those that will be willing, we thank God, we are going to work with them. I think there is hope for Zambia, Ambassador. And I want to say this lastly, Ichintu Chola, Makebi Zulu for presidents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have got a lot of people waiting. Please just be patient. I'll get to your line. I've got this other caller. Hello, caller. Look, hello, caller.
Good evening. Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Who's calling?
This is Dr. K calling you from Lusaka.
Dr. K, make your contribution.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador. Just three things. One, just to pay tribute to the outgoing Ambassador Gonzalez. I think this is one of the remarkable ambassadors that we have had, a man that was so compassionate to the Zambian people, especially the ordinary people, and for his concerns and his support to this country. We really want to thank him, and even for standing up for us and for helping us to know certain things that were hidden. We want to pay tribute to him. He was such a good ambassador. Secondly, Ambassador, is the unity that Honorable Hari Kalaba is talking about. I think many have said that we want to see actions rather than just talking. And also, I want to encourage him to work with Makebi Zulu, to work with other political parties like opposition leaders that are key figures, especially those that will matter to these particular elections. And he should not spend time talking to people that are just bringing division, people that are just bringing this country down, people that we know are Judas Iscariots. We do not want him to spend a lot of time with such, rather than him bringing those key leaders like, Honorable Mundubile, Makebi Zulu, and all those key figures that we know. Yeah, then thirdly, Ambassador, is just an appeal that please also bring to us leaders from, Makebi's camp. I think we have quite a number of leaders to just explain some of the issues that would want them to talk about. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. I make your contribution. Mwabombeni. Nimwebani mukwai. Mletumina copper belt. Make your contributions quickly.
President Kalaba, ifofeni tubalera pali unity nabaranda bwino sana eruba mwamba esuna bakonfwa ifofeni balera ndokwe bati unity balera ndapo kwe bati vekatane mwalasanga kwe bati ngani bakala balimbe balanda pali unity balefwa area unity bali abantu babe kuli bena bambe okubasupporta bena wamona unity yo tulefwa nili yakwe bati we party president kuti wasumina okwe bati bakutungulula nangula watungululwa mwamona notulera ndati unity ulefu abatungirire feyo mwamona bwafya bulipo bonse aba opposition bonse mwarasa ngwe bati balera nda pali unity but unity balera ndapo balefu abena babatungirire ngani bali Kalaba balera nda pali unity bali abantu ba opposition babatungirire bena ngani ba nani kani Mundubile bofine galiba Makebi bofine bamutungire so ichiri pota kwe bati nangunawo ishibo kwe bati walikwata mano niwe bolida sometimes kuichenda twalanda toke na inewe ne kuti natungulu erofo ningakoseresha bali Kalaba chakwe kwe bati bali inonshita ikatane ni na Makebi Zulu mamona ngamwasumina imobene bali Kalaba mwalando kwe bati okay mwacho andima kimukala mbanga mwacho andima Makebi balangu alignment nangu ba party president ino na ba alignment twendere chapa mutungulure chalo ni shifintu kuti fya wabwino nomba mwalasa ngokwe bati abali background abo na ile sana no butungulu shwa kwa bati bali yakatana balabe n'abantu abo mu bena bali mu patriotic front nga mwalolekesha bale fuma and bonse bale bomfya mali gali ya na PF igali ya PF ba makebi bale bomfya igali ya PF nomba makebi te problem cause no party president ba PF ebo tuishiwe pali nonje mwalasa ngati wa mundu bile bale bomfya mali gali ya PF abo bakatotobwe mali gali ya PF baraba kitaru kirufya amali gali ya mausa mpa mali gali ya PF kyonse fo bale rufyanya abantu lero fo ningakoseresha abantu bonse especially bali u patriotic front leadership ya patriotic front irina makebi zulu pali inonshita mumone makebi zulu efe achulire na ba Edgar Lungu mu bintu ba Edgar Lungu bali abomi arechula na bena ba Edgar Lungu bapwa arechula fena bena omwana wa bene kale ikala na mchalo cha Zambia panono fe kwa chitika fekamo atere amati ku South Africa abutukira kula kwini ninshi bonse mu ba position tete mulando kwe batika tutungirire oyine wa ikatene na Edgar Lungu tumubike pantashi na ngula na tukwatamano katutungirire oyine nombe chilipo na bayitemwa bonse that's why bale rupirano tumani nomination fees amande kwacha kumulandu fe wabuka itemwe lero fa tungamira fe kwe bati nga mwalusa fe alande mewa nga mwalusa fe nimwe bakamba bukupita muri ifi chonse veta mulemona funye lipo bukaitemwe.
Thank you. Alokola, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
My name is Hendrix, Your Excellency, calling from Lusaka.
Hendrix, make your contribution.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, kwena in the statement that the ambassador about America Bapangire, it's a very, very, very touching statement, Your Excellency. Corruption is a cancer, and as a country, we should not allow corruption. And those who are corrupt must pack and go. Then, Your Excellency, it's on the floor of your Kulanda Puchin Twitch Kalamba sana and play unit. Yama leaders, yes, I'm a presidential candidate. Your Excellency, 100,000 is a big amount. Ninda lama I Kalamba, Yakovat Muntunga, Jakovat Afumia, Alipida. Ninja ali serious na intention ya kuimirira bu president. Kuna twachumfa efe ba president ali Kalaba bachira land. But kumana fio, Your Excellency, if it is tika, the unit we are talking about, I doubt if it may happen because Pokafat leader, afumi 100,000, Your Excellency, is a big amount. Umuntu ngachaka wat ayalipira 100,000 non-refundable. It is a big amount, and we actually doubt. But my message is, please, mwema leaders beso, nimutushintiriremo. Kabiri, mutumfishenson, kabiri mutuposa, pandufufewe na Zambia, tulechula. I've heard President Makebi Zuru has talked about unit. President Ali Kalaba has also talked about unit. But the big picture, okonshila umfwa sana. Nikuliba President Babrani Mundobi. Your Excellency, nizatu mwene kuchechi na ba Hari Kalaba, President Hari Kalaba. We are expecting that maybe kwa mako statement ya kwa watimbi kutiba bombera pamo. So Your Excellency, my request is, please bring President Blani Mundubide here on this platform. Let him come and give us his position. Does he want to work with his friends? Or because I think he got a triumph unit. If he wants to be president, everyone is going to support him. Just like President Hari Kalaba said, ine tafiri na kwebati ine ndefu acha femu president no echo ndefu acha kwebati tuwombere pamo tufumye Zambia muri ububusha uwaingira mwecharo chesu ubusha wa poverty ubusha wa lawlessness ifindu fyonse fresh katika ka chino charo chesu. So Your Excellency, please, my request is do whatever is in your power and ensure that you bring President Blani Mundubire here. Let him come and state his position.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Hello, Honorable Mwamba.
Good evening.
Calling you from Germany.
Make your contribution, my sister from Germany.
Yes. First of all, I would like to appreciate what you are doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I would like to talk about the ECL thing. Actually, it really pains a lot of hearts. It felt like that's when Mr. President just died. And my contribution to Honorable Hari Kalaba is to show us, which the unit is always talking about, how to unite the opposition. We would really like to see it that rather than saying it on Facebook or on media, to say that, no, we are uniting. If people are uniting, why paying 100,000? Every opposition is paying 100,000. For what? That's a lot of money which can help in campaigning if they can just choose one leader. It seems like it's not helping for us Zambians. We are really suffering. People are suffering in Zambia, and we feel like this opposition are very selfish people. They are putting themselves at first and not looking about the Zambian people, the poor Zambian people who are crying every day. I wish this opposition can just go in rural areas or in villages to see how people are crying. But they are in forefront to busy talking on your program or on social media. No, we are talking, but we can't see it. They need to show us, the people, that these people are working together, not just talking throughout. I've heard President Hari Kalaba talking about this, but we haven't seen. People say actions talks better than words. Let this opposition show us that we are working together, because otherwise it's not going anywhere. If HH wins 2026, we would even applaud HH to arrest all these oppositions, because they're not helping us Zambians.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you.
We can't even go to Zambia because of these things which are happening in HH. When you post something, the people are looking for us. They're looking for our names. Now we are scared to visit our own country. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear sister. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good night.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Hello, this is Didi from...
Didi, make your contribution. Didi, make your contributions.
Mwamba, first of all, na yakuli ba Kalaba. Ba Kalaba, ba lela ndakutila unit. Ba Kalaba unit tubefaya, te yakuzula ndangala chilando mwendo kutila abantu basa kukunoni. Unit yakupanga echintu chimo. Isa kupanga echintu chimo muri ba Kalaba, ba KDF, ba Makedi, ba Mundubire, ba Katotowe, ba Chitalu Chirufia. Katushina bambia balipo. Imwe bonse, ero muri banganda inga, imo. Bonse muri banganda fe imo bonse mwafuma muluri mu pati ya funeko. Imwe bonse tuwefo kuipatana. Mwaba unga, ewa tungulula mwalanda mwe batao kwene fichaba. Abantu nga balekuwayo watangiriyo tutungulire. Nefintu fyose kutufyangu kateti tusanganya amavoti teti yayo. 50% teyakupita imwe Kabakalaba, teyakupita makebie, teyakupita bachitalu chirufya. 50% ya 50 plus 1 teyakupita omuntu umo. Yakuikatana, elo teyakutwala kona masaji. Nili yako wati mwaingira mumushi. Kopa, ikuya pia itauni Lusaka, Kabwe, yanana kishari shibikwa. Mumushi mwaingira mkuya mkuchita kampeni. Ijayi ne balenda banenu baba UPND babwerere n'abafita mu mishi ukuya do to do muma miyombe mumuchi muma wanga eile nyitinga mukulanda na bajaba ufyo balechulo mukubalondolera kufichulire bayisiwe ibyo chulire bayiwochi bachitikire mwaumfwa teyakwangala lule n'abantu namumona ambassador uyu bwengelezo wakuyu esekali hata mpiro kulala ndapama problems ya miti
ifire ekitika kuli aloganzi ababa n'enso kali alera ndekoleta misuzi ntuke bali abola olefe kyonse fire kita ngalanda kubale kino kuti ale yafye lwaya ashasondwerera ndikulonderera fyonse ifyo mukita musungulya era abasungu bamwamba mwebekala nabo mwali mumuna takwana tabafaya mukulu kun'emingalato tabashifwana so baalitamba kitika mu Zambia baalimona batitikisha ba opposition befo balulingi nango balufyane basende ekintu ayatumpa myakwe nga mwelela enkwaba kikiri kuli imwe nga mulefu okutwalirira n'okuteeko natukinkulo omuntu akwalesaya n'okuyende n'omutende aye namukubomba omutende bantu ekubombera abantu.
Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Yes, Bamwamba. I'll remain anonymous.
Anonymous?
From Canada.
From Canada. Make your contribution quickly.
Bamwamba inende fokulanda padiri ya shijaba opposition ukikatana. Ifire shitika kuli ba opposition narandoko bati balefirwa abantu. Bamwamba this particular time opposition bafire bayikatana nokubombera chapamo. Ngamwali konkasana efyaliranda ba HH bakaba ba president ba HH warandoko bata okumfunyapo twalikalira. So ngachakwati wa opposition tabeka tene nokubombera chapamo. I can safely tell you it will be very difficult for UPND to leave power. So what I'm trying to say is let the opposition babombere chapamo, not fato awe twalabombera pamo, but twamuna abantu balipira bali 30. Because in as much as you want to rule, but you have to look at the bigger picture. Is it just about myself or it's about the interest of Zambians? They need to collaborate and work together. Not the Lobalandefi, my Lobalandefi. It will be very difficult, Bamwamba. When you look at the Vindifish Kamucharo Tafiri Panga Sensi Awe, by opposition, Babombele Chapamo. The lot to you are you, my Lord, are you, money for PF, Avanto Kachinga, Avanto 5, Nomba Malago, they won't see me back at Taka Kubafiunga, Umofi. And this is why now the government is taking advantage. The opposition are divided and they are now putting that narrative to say there's no opposition. There's no opposition. So they will even try by all means to bring in that division, that confusion, so that you can be divided more. So I call upon all well-meaning opposition to say, okay, I'm very much ready. Okwebati omunandi atishanya take mara mono kubati nani umuntu very sellable muntu omufire mwa supporter bonse look at bavene ba UPND abalete kalero ngachako bati nangoma member of parliament bali divided like if you finish tikerero. Are you telling me ba UPND ngabali forming government ngatabache form government randoko bati bali supporter if HH managed to kubika bonse ma member of parliament pamo le loba UPND balete kama ndoko kwati bali pamopene nomba opposition botule mona mairo yabuka aho eneo letekani neo mairo yabuka aho neo likoni neo. That I can safely tell you by UPND bakawina my election ngachakwati opposition tabombere chapamo. So trerando kweboke bati moba opposition ikataneni no quite a very strong manifesto yala convince abena Zambia bonse. That's why they ndoko bati mo opposition itamkwete manifesto yakutupera mona ndoko naba mona uyu alandefi bamundubire balandefi bakalaba balandefi banani balandefi. So you people bombere ni chapamo for the sake of abena Zambia no kukwata manifesto yalalanga okubati bonse abena Zambia tashani baumfu kubata abantu foreranda abantu aba fire panga sense.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yeah, actually, I want to discuss the issue that Kalaba brought up. Kalaba helped us a lot to understand.
Honorable Hari Kalaba.
Honorable Hari Kalaba, sorry.
Thank you.
brought a lot of issues that really comforted me when he said they are talking. And I know people are not satisfied by just talking. They want some people to fall off. But knowing maybe we should not conclude that they've already done what they are going to do. In all fairness, Mwamba, ba UPND, kutuma sabulo muntu mubonsa bashta fall off. Olo bula uni muntu mwabika po basa ikata. You have nowhere to go at that point. But them filing as they've done, then basa fall off last minute la kwa banumbati to apala mokuvota. Baka tupela chance ya kwa tukakwatu muntu uyu. Nombanga la une muntu nga to achitale lwati lelo ni wa mundu bile. Olo mundu bile babula baposa mchitologoshi. Abambita bali pila 100,000. Mukabutukira kuisapo. It's chapwa. So my analysis is that this idea can work for the better or for good to the opposition in the near future. Because we know how the UPND is playing this game. We know how HH does not want any opposition during the elections. So let them be like they are, let them continue talking, and we don't know what they're talking about. So we shouldn't assume that they are all going to participate.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much, Anonymous. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Alfred calling from Lusaka.
Alfred, make your contribution.
I haven't been calling on your program recently for the past, I think, 1 week or so. I was traumatized with the truth. And what this government has done to the ECL issue is nothing but total witchcraft. We can beat about the bush about that issue. Then coming to Gonzalez, you know, it is a very long, detailed speech. I mean, farewell speech. And he has disclosed a number of issues happening under this government. One, he has exposed the incompetence of the UPND government under the leadership of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. There is a fair way of attending to issues which doesn't interest them, which is so sad, and I'm wondering why the opposition, they are not, you know, amplifying on this issue, on the issues which Gonzalez has, you know, has outlined. So before I lost my thought, I've seen a number of, you know, opposition leaders filing in their, paying their nomination fees. I think let them pay. A number of them, let them pay, because we don't know who is going to go through. And after some of them goes through, that's when we can talk about unity and see who we are going to rally behind, owing to the political environment we are in. So let a number of them pay, so that we know who is going to go through. Because this government, you know, it doesn't care. I'm even so scared to say even the American government has been treated in this manner. You know, it's so shocking. Ignoring the ambassador of the USA to engage him. He has bemoaned a number of, you know, this government. No, it needs to go, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from and give us your contribution.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Mwamba from Livingston.
Make your contribution.
Thank you so much. Also, my greetings goes to Honorable Hadi Kalaba. I think he has given out a very good outline on how he also is pushing to see to it that there's unity in the opposition. Now, I've got a bit of concerns, Bamwamba, to do with opposition unit. Me, I feel that opposition unity is now or never. Because one, We cannot wait for that period when we must check who has been in prison and who hasn't. I think there are more issues to unity than just seeing a presidential candidate on the ballot. One is the issue of nominations. Ambassador Mwamba, if we go on like this without opposition unity, we are going to discover that we are not going to have candidates in most areas, parts of the country, from the opposition part. Talk of councillors, MPs, mayors, I think there we are going to have a problem if we don't unite on time. Look what these guys are doing by UPND. I think all of us, we have seen how they have been floating their aspiring candidates, submitting applications to the Mazoka house in Lusaka. But where are the opposition the leaders aspiring on MP, councillor, and mayor? Where are they submitting the application letters? So it's better that we unite now, so that we need to know to say, okay, if it tweet political parties, you get this constituency, get that constituency, get that word, so that at least during the nomination time, ECZ, if we are really serious about winning elections, we must have fielded candidates in all the parts of the country. That's the unity that we need now. Because if we say that my president will unite, my president will unite, maybe nishta kuri nishta. But what about I'm a foot soldiers, I'm a councillors, I'm a mayors? If we don't field, back to win. And then the other thing about Mwamba is that therefore kuranda padi Makebi Zulu. You know, Makebi Zulu, I think even the way bowing in presidency MPF, I think for me it is more to do with spiritual or nothing else. I have my elections 2026. My elections I mean padilesa, and umuntu wonso ulefo kuchitefia kwa lesa umutima wakwe ufiri waba pure if they really want to get help from God. Now I'm saying Makebi Zulu badi winnable PF president, okay? Now others tabala sumina kwa tu umuntu ali winnable president. I think this is why we have seen that other members have even come out like the BFF Trevana and Kademachi. Now, Makebi Zulu Nash demonstrate loyalty, not only to this country, but loyalty also to Dr. Edgar Chagwarungo's family. Now it demonstrate loyalty, that demonstrate maturity. You see how it has traveled the upper penny packet just to make sure that the body to Dr. Edgar Chagwarungu is safe. Now, that's what Tamari does within the PF, within the party, okay? And most of the people that we thought would represent us, apart from Makebi, represent Nashville. So it is the kind of relationship if you land up having that abantu are surrounded, those people that surrounded Edgar Lungu, most of them, they were not honest with him. So for me,
thank you, Bambo. Thank you. There are so many people waiting, and I want to call Honorable Kalaba to come and give his closing remarks. Hello, caller. Hello, caller, please. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes.
Hello, Ambassador.
Yes.
Good evening. Hello, Ambassador. Hello, Ambassador.
Hello, make your contribution, please.
Oh, thank you. I was not hearing you. I'll speak to only two things. One, Ambassador, is unity. Everybody has talked about unity. We need unity of purpose. What is our purpose? What are we trying to do? That is what we should focus on. Now, Ambassador Gonzalez has also opened our eyes. Our leaders have been talking about 1 million metric tons of copper. For who? Those are the things we should take into considerations and unite. The unity of purpose is quite important because what we are fighting is for one. Never mind what we want to get rid of is one person. And that's the way we should move. That's the way we should go forward. Now, look at the PF itself. We have all these Kalaba, Bani, Bafumam PF. And Mingalato Vate, Abe Navaishwe Mingalato, Yakutila. We split the votes. Mingalato Vate, and we can't see it. Our leaders cannot see it. Can we please wake up and see this? Our leaders, yes, we level-headed. And get to a common goal. What is our goal? Are we going to live the way we are living? One cannot even talk. When you want to talk, you whisper. Ambassador.
Thank you very much. I'll be taking the last call so that I can call Honorable Hari Kalaba to come and make his last remarks. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Me again, sorry, Ramamba. You know the situation that I've been here for over 30 years. We don't use honorable, so I'm so sorry to Honorable Kalaba for not addressing him as honorable.
Okay, thank you.
As you know me, I'm a professor, but I don't even allow my students to be calling me professor. They just call me by my name. Some students just call me Dr. K. It ends there. So sorry to Honorable Kalaba for having called you Hari Kalaba.
That's honorable of you. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Narikatife decorum pa program yandi ndafwala na tai, and I want my guests respected. So just the decorum that I promote. Thank you, Dr. K. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Am I good to EMV?
Yes, you are. Please make your contributions.
Okay, this is the Raphael Chanda calling from Livingstone.
Raphael Chanda, make your contributions.
Sometimes Mamba Amatotero Nicoli Mupanch to Mlebombe. Because the Enchito Tava is an inchto you made to a Firisha Kokuchita communicating around Tavengi at the same time, at the same place. Therefore, to tell us, Anakshara Bakateka Hari Kalaba. Inkonka sana efe barondo rwere ndesubira nabena kumutima ngana bakwata iliya yakwe bati ngafyashupa ino kubakateka tunasaba nangulani ngimetwa muntu uli ulwili nkwe bachitinga bombera chapamo amahibalande efe turechite expect kuri bali dabali bo twete mu Zambia but nimbona maridas bambi abakosero kwe bati makebizuru afiro kushara kusa Africa ari mona bode ero rena bari kuno bari chita campaign, meaning it's an indirect way of trying to coerce somebody kwe bati by all means you need to support me. The second thing bambecho ndefa cha kwe bati mikokora sana kuleta ba makebi pa EMV tureva for because tureva twishu for to alabomba because popo tureranda pano tatwishu ama structures ya PF ngayali akuri ba mundu bire ngachina ba makebizuru so tureva nga baisa ifefe ba ipiri shokuba sontere kuwe bati Oria are serving a double portion. Ni district chairman, ni constituency chairman, ni news chairman, waba chite, but ure double consequently are monekera. So, wherefore abakara bombe inchito tuka bombe na bwandin and that refer tuka sungama pretenders muri rest turimo. Then start kupangenda ramena kwa bati ukwata opposition ya bidi two different political parties. Ukure monekera nuwe chairman, nokure monekera nuwe chairman. So mbarete wa makebizuru hapa so that tuambemo. My first time na dando kwa ati Southern Province. Elefa koku kwempa kwambira kuri provincial chairman. Sasa kuri branch chairman. Sa tuambemo wino. Wish we abantu beso.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. You are my last caller for now. Yes.
Hello, Bamamba.
Hello, caller.
Francis calling from Lusaka.
Francis, make your contribution.
Yes, honorable. Nachafa sokulanda kupali ya bambi bachiranda no. Amundu bileta walianda popa unity and whatever. Today, honorable mundu bile but you are radio bachiranda no. I'm talking to Kalaba. I'm talking to Makebi. I'm talking to all those political parties so that it reach up. And secondly, me, I'm ready to be ready. I don't have to love Makebi. I don't have to like your Fed member. But the issue is to thank you.
Thank you very much. The calls are so many, but unfortunately we have to close. We just did a special broadcast, to react to Michael Gonzalez's speech and the burning issues, and I was hosting Honorable Harry Kalaba. I told you as my guest, as my audience, that I'll bring in Honorable Harry Kalaba to come and give his last remarks. Honorable Harry Kalaba, you must have been listening to all the concerns and questions. Please pick up the baton and answer and make your closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the opportunity yet again. And I am really also thrilled by the volumes of people that have thronged the station today, and just the many calls that they have made to encourage us leaders to work together. I would also want to thank Dr. K for being very honorable. He felt that he didn't respect me. Dr. K, for me, I'm good. It's okay, even if you call me Harry Kalaba. That is the name I was given. But you are a great man. Thank you. I will try and look for your number so that I can get in touch with you after this program. I hope Ambassador will be gracious enough to lend me your number so
yes,
I can
will
get
do.
in
I'll
touch.
pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ambassador, I want to tell our viewers and listeners that whatever I was saying on that platform was not for academic purposes. I am not very strong on doing things academically. When it came to a time when I felt I could not continue in government, I had the courage to step away. Remember, it takes courage to stay, just as it takes courage to leave. And I left. I have got no business going on a platform as illustrious as yours and just talk things for the sake of talking. That is not my business. And if that's the way we'll be talking, then we'll perish. And that is why I want to encourage all of us who will be talking on this platform to walk the talk. And when I say, Ambassador, that I spent a great deal of time today talking to other leaders, it's not that I didn't do it. I did it. And that is why I am making every effort. And even when I say I am prepared to be late, it is just that. I know there were callers who are saying, but we want to see pictures, we want to see them, we want to see actions. Even you, our supporters, sometimes I would say, learn to also be patient and also to be good to each other, because Harry Kalaba has got people that are supporting him. Makebi Zulu has got people that are supporting him. Fred Membe, Brian, they have all got some people who are supporting them. And sometimes when we come out so strongly against the leader being supported by another leader, obviously the supporters will not feel right. And they'll feel being belittled, they'll feel that the others want to have a lion's share. So in all this, you, the supporters, and we, the leaders, have all an inescapable duty to agree that this time we should all learn to let go. What are you telling us, your leaders, when we are alone by ourselves? What are you telling us? Are you telling Harry Kalaba, like my leaders today? I was even telling them, why would you just want me to be the one? Because even that other person who wants to be president, there are people who are supporting that other person. At the end of the day,
in fact, Mr. President, just to add there, you know, your dear brother Fred Membe issued a statement, you know, bemoaning the way your supporters, your presidential candidates, are disparaging others, and even accuse the supporters of keeping you leaders away because it's like they are holding you hostage. So I'm just agreeing with you that the responsibility is just not to the leaders, but also to the followers to exercise that responsibility.
Exactly, Your Excellency. Thank you for buttressing that point. Because sometimes you leave it to the leaders, they're not agreeing, but we keep on insisting on our own positions. And you are saying, show us the photos, show us the pictures. It is not everything. Like right now where we have reached, these are sensitive times. It is not everything we are going to play to the gallery. I know that Ambassador Mwamba knows that there's a lot happening behind the scenes. But if we start diverging everything that we are doing, we come and tell you on TV here that we are doing this, we made this, what we can reach there. The UPND will be celebrating, they'll open a bottle of champagne and they'll start drinking, knowing that we are planning right in their faces. The reason why alliances have failed has been because we have been doing these alliances openly. We are at a critical time, our leaders. We are at a critical time, our supporters. We need to be very, very serious with the way we proceed with this matter. Last but not the least, Ambassador Mwamba, I want to say this. Even as all of us are saying we are in opposition, it is not everyone that has paid that 100,000. That means well for the opposition. Some have paid to weaken the opposition. Some have paid to see what they can get out of this as a bait, something they can use to propel themselves. So that's why I'm saying that we have to be careful. Even when we are saying unite, there's no way all of you can pay like this. Politics is a different industry. And what is happening right now in our country is very strange. So let us wait for this process and let's see how far it goes. I agree with one brother who said, sometimes we should even wait to see who's going to be on the ballot. Because even being on the ballot is not as easy as it was in 2021. Ambassador, there is a provision there in the electoral calendar. After we file our nominations, there is a 1 week period where those who want to challenge our nominations have been given leeway to go and challenge. And when you look at the electoral process bill, it is giving the Electoral Commission of Zambia powers to reject your nomination or accept your nomination. And there's nowhere you're going to go. Because before, they will tell you right there and then when you file in that you have succeeded. But now, you have to wait for another 7 days for you to be told whether you have succeeded or not. So that's why if you say you are many, yes, we are many. Yes, we should reduce the numbers. But again, we have to be careful how we proceed. Because not everybody that has paid is in opposition. Not everybody that has paid those 100,000 kwachas means well for the opposition to unite. Some are there to frustrate the process. I am also shocked that some have paid. But they have paid. They are Zambians. They are entitled. So let us be careful with the way we proceed. But from our end as citizens, first I want to assure our people out there that don't worry, we are doing our part. We are belaboring to ensure that we unite as opposition. It is in our own interest Because if we don't do it, like I said earlier, Ambassador, we'll be punished by circumstances. Today, Ambassador is not in Zambia, he's in the States. Tomorrow, Ambassador, you will have a lot of disciples joining you where you are if we don't do things right here. And that is if others will be lucky. If we'll not be lucky, we'll end up just like our friends, Nixon Chilangwa, Chitotela, and many others, Lusambo, who today, Malanja and others, are languishing in jail for issues that should not even have happened. So even as we do this exercise, I want to say this. Let us be genuine. Let us be sincere. And we, the supporters, must also be ready to allow to be led by anybody else other than the person we keep on praising or talking about. Because by insisting on that, we are heading for failure. Let us be magnanimous. Thank you, Excellence, for the opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you for featuring on the program. I'm grateful. Thank you very much for that. That was Honorable Harry Kalaba closing the program. The cause are still many, but we want to acquire Fidandanda. The host needs some rest so that you can have another program properly. So we are closing the program, and people are still calling. Thank you very much, and thank you for enjoying the program. Today we're discussing the momentous speech by outgoing ambassador to US, to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez. I've lined up a few guests to speak to the difficult issues that he raised against the government of President Hakainde Hichilema. The speech was historical. It was exposing. That's why the praise singers are so annoyed and they're insulting the ambassador. The man who brings your ARVs, the man who brings you up to $500 million a year. Money you never reject, but you are quick to insult him. Mop up your resources, tax those mines, plug the holes of $4 billion a year. Then you can be proud people. Your sovereignty is undermined when your national budget is supported by other people. Support yourself, reject aid, mobilize domestic resources. Then you can tell of anyone. At this stage, you cannot be receiving $500 million a year in one hand and reject the concerns when the owners of the money say you've stolen the money and they expose you. Now, so until we have another momentous discussion, I think on Sunday, God bless you and thank you for